Times also has a take on Fix the Country. Says hashtag Fix the Country protest hits Accra. Thousands march to demand government attend to developmental needs of country. On COVID-19, Ghana Health Service declares Volta, Bono East as emerging infection hotspots. And if you go to the Volta region, some chieftaincy issues, tension mounts between Peki, Chito over installation of the Dedo chief. And President pays tribute to 4 bears as country celebrates Founders Day and first after Business Investment Forum ends in Accra.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, 2 Mahama ministers for court today. That is on the Saglemi housing scandal. Fix the Country stages demo. NPP gurus get top appointment. We can't joke with our democracy, says an expert.
And the Chronicle says battle over $200 million Saglemi project. Sami Jemfi told lies, says E.T. Mensah. Drama on a flower road as customs vehicles set ablaze. Ghanaian vehicle smugglers. Ghanaian fuel smugglers busted in the Gambia. Majority and minority leaders fight over state of economy. And MOI GIPC introduce Spark Up to boost Ghana's investment drive.
Front page of the Daily Statesman, Nana wants Ghana freed from colonial economic arrangements, deregulation policy under review, NPA boss requests proposals from stakeholders, and then COVID-19 protocols ignored at Fix the Country demo.
The New Crusading Guide says Fix the Country demo hits Accra as democracy triumphs. Atomic land saga Odai Into family sets record straight. On pirate attacks, Ghana Angola battle ready. And socialist movement elects Chichie Poku as convener, Kwesi Pratt as general secretary.
Finally, from me, front page of the BNFT, 1 million jobs agenda depends on private sector response. This is according to Professor Korte. Ni Amano Dodu can continue work as receiver of Unibank, according to the appeals court, and redefine pensionable salary to include allowances.
Okay.
And the Business Finder says Ghana Angola businesses engage at Maiden After Angola Business Forum in Accra. On mining, we can industrialize economy if, and there are 3 dots after that, and prioritize revenue mobilization. That's according to the IEA.
All right, have you done with the BNFT?
Yes.
Let's go to citynewsroom.com. Fix the Country demo. This is just the beginning, more to come. Ernesto Yeboah. Also, UTAC strike negotiations with government ends in stalemate. Other stories, Kesia Jabing to be sworn in as special prosecutor today. And Tokyo 2020, Ghana secures 4x100 relay final spot with national record. That's a great story. If you go to citybusinessnews.com, cede majority stake in TOR to private investors to ensure its success. This is IES to government. Also, ISA is reiterating need for assessment of newly introduced taxes. And as we heard yesterday, there's a new CEO for TOR. His name is Edward Boateng. MyJournalline.com is leading with no due diligence or value for money. How some MPs kicked against Saglemi housing project in 2012. Also, we must work to free ourselves from colonial power that binds us. This is Akufo-Addo. And how can people lie like this? E.T. Mensah on NDC Saglemi housing project defense. In other stories, Fix the Country protesters hit the streets of Accra. That's also on my journal. If you go to Star FM, you didn't disappoint me. You did your best, Mahama to Voltarians. Also, as you read, Volta Bono emerged as hotspot for COVID-19, and 3 persons killed in Sukakope road crash in the Volta region. And we are ready to die for the country. Fix the Country protesters. Now, one of the best headlines I saw on the Fix the Country is on citynewsroom.com. I joined the demo because broke members can't pay tithe and offerings. The pastor is not happy at all. There's an interesting story on the BBC that Instagram has blocked Jamaican sprinter
Elaine Thompson here
for sharing footage of her races on her Instagram account. So you may win the race, the goal belongs to you, but the images don't belong to you.
Yes.
That's where we are in the world today. Let's start with the demos, Nathan.
Yeah, page 16 of the Ghanaian Times says what started as a hashtag on social media 3 months ago assumed a physical form on the streets of Accra yesterday when hundreds of Ghanaians embarked on the hashtag Fix the Country demonstration. The much-awaited protest for good governance and urgent fixing of the country's challenges came off after weeks of resistance from the Ghana Police Service through a legal tussle also over the COVID-19 restrictions placed on public gatherings to prevent the spread of the virus. The over 2-hour protest coincided with Ghana's Founders Day, which is observed annually to celebrate the nation's forebears who spearheaded the cause that led to the country's independence from British colonial rule in 1957. There are two pictures, one big one of the protesters holding placards. This one says, "No black man is a foreigner in Africa." And there are several others here. The one that jumps at me: bribery is an insult to hard work.
There's another one that says that corruption destroys lives, and there's so many others.
Yeah.
There are so many angles on the Ghanaian
Graphic
graphic as well.
to the graphic on page 16. Now, addressing the crowd at the Black Star Square, one of the conveners, Mr. Ernesto Yeboah, said the demonstration was only the tip of the iceberg and that more action would follow if the government refused to address their plight. According to him, the government had oppressed the youth of the country for too long, and it was time they also proved that power belongs to the people. Coach Nkrumah said the secret to life is to have no fear, and that is why we must all have no fear. We need to fight for what belongs to us without any fear, and that is the only way the government will listen to us.
There are a few other stories. Dan Parry addressing the police. He's the acting IGP. Asked them to be professional in their conduct so the demonstration would ensue peacefully, which it did. And then a man who was interviewed by the journalist during the demo said he's a pastor. He mentioned his church. He mentioned the branch. And he said, Charlie, things are hard. His members can't even pay tithe and offering. So he's also demonstrating. And he was in his clerical collar, which was quite interesting. So all of that happened as the major issue from yesterday. But there's also the day itself and the president's comments.
Yes, the president on page 17 says, "Let's free nation from colonial economic arrangement." President Nadu Dankwa Akufo-Addo has urged Ghanaians to collectively work to free the nation from the economic arrangement designed by the former colonial powers. So the country must make concerted efforts to break away from the new colonial structure of the raw material producing and exporting economy. Quote, "We must, as a mark of reverence to our forebears, work to free ourselves from the economic arrangements designed by the former colonial power to serve its particular purpose at the time, which continue to bind us," he said in a message posted on his Facebook page to commemorate Founders Day. Meanwhile, 5 political parties have also shared their views on the day with the daily graphic. The CPP and the PNC, they stressed the need for Ghanaians to channel their energies towards addressing the current problems the country was facing rather than expend their time on debating the Founders and Founders Day issue. We have the chairman of the PNC, Mr. Moses Daniba, who supported the setting aside of the day and noted that there were a number of people who worked for independence of Ghana, but some of us feel strongly that it was Nkrumah who actually brought about the independence of Ghana, and then they sought the opinions of other political parties on the matter.
Let's go on.
There's COVID as well.
All right,
Yes.
there are 3 new hotspots, Volta, Bono East, and some other places. Do you have the details?
That is on page 15 of the Ghanaian Times. And there's a picture of Dr. Patrick Boaji here. And he says, or the Ghana Health Service is saying, that Volta, Bono, and Bono East regions are emerging hotspots for coronavirus infections as the new Delta variant becomes the dominant strain in the country. Now, the service has therefore cautioned the public to be careful with their activities and comply with all the necessary protocols to avert pushing the situation beyond control. Addressing the media in Accra yesterday, the Director General of the service, Dr. Patrick Boaji, said the country's active cases had surged from 8,600 within the last month alone to over 6,000 by the end of August 4. And he said the current trend looked dangerous for the country, and unless the public took the protocols more seriously and complied, the situation might spiral out of control.
All right, we're told 10 more people died of COVID over the past couple of days. But apart from COVID-19, UTAG is also on strike. That's also a big story. And Citi Newsroom is reporting that there's a stalemate. Now, that story is by Jonas Nyabo. It says a meeting between the government of and the University of Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, over its ongoing strike ended inconclusively on Wednesday, the 4th of August. Now, the teacher union embarked on industrial action on Monday, August the 2nd, to demand better conditions of service. Now, this has impacted academic activities in various campuses across the nation. In an effort to address the situation, Employment and Labour Relations Minister engaged the University Teachers Association for a possible resolution. But the president of UTAG, Professor Charles Mafo, has told Citi News government could not meet their demands. I'm sure if government showed commitment of meeting any of it, definitely would call off the strike. What they proposed was just not right. They committed that to the NEC director that we get back to our various branches and share with our members, and they will tell us the way forward. UTAG has said it's open to negotiations with government and expects to make workable proposals for them to consider if the demands appear excessive. Now, they are demanding implementation of a 2012 single spine package, which put entry-level lecturers on a salary of $2,084, while the senior staff members want their computation and release of their tier 2 pensions in arrears paid with interest. So the nationwide strike continues, we're told. Let's talk about Saglemi.
Yes, that's on page 3 of the Daily Guide, and 2 Mahama ministers for court today, according to the paper. Says that 2 former ministers in the erstwhile John Mahama-led National Democratic Congress administration and 3 others who have been charged by the Attorney General for their alleged involvement in the $200 million Saglemi housing project scandal are set to make their maiden appearance at an Accra High Court today. They include Alhaji Collins Dawuda, former Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, who doubles as the NDC MP for Citi South in the Half region, Dr. Kweku Ajiman-Mensah, who was the Health Minister under Mr. Mahama's administration and later became the Minister for the same ministry, that is Water Resources, Works and Housing. Also expected in the dock are Haji Ziblim Yakubu, Chief Director of the Ministry for Water Resources, Works and Housing, when the deal was signed. Businessman Andrew Klokanas, Executive Chairman of Constructura OS Ghana Limited, who entered into the agreement, as well as Nuovi Tete Angelo, the Chief Executive Officer and owner of Ridge Management Solutions Ghana Limited, a private entity that was involved in the Saglemi housing project. So we will keep an eye on that.
What about E.T. Mensah? He's been quoted as having said a couple of things.
Yes, so E.T. Mensah is saying that the NDC's communications officer, Sami Jemfi, lied over the controversial $200 million Saglemi housing project. According to the former Minister for Works and Housing, under whose tenure the project started, the 5,000 housing units were not going to be constructed in phases, as alleged by Mr. Jemfi. He said, quote, "It's a lie. It was not into any phases. We knew what we wanted to build. That was 5,000 houses to be built for workers, and it was approved. It was an election year. Prof. Mills gave executive approval and we went to Parliament and Parliament approved it." End quote. The former mayor of Accra stressed that the project was to be executed in one phase, quizzing, quote, "Can people lie this way?"
You can't lie.
Anyway. And he was speaking to the host of Good Evening Ghana on Metro TV, Paul Adumochi.
Now, Akufo-Addo to Soin Kisej have been today. Privileges Committee to meet over Kennedy today. Those are 2 important updates we're giving you. So let me just give you those highlights.
Yeah, once you're done, I'll add to the appointments list.
Okay, I mean, the story is just a headline. So the president to Soin Kisej have been today, full stop.
Okay.
And the Privileges Committee is expected to meet on the case in which Alassane Suini brought Kennedy Japan before it. But from the news report you heard this morning, the sitting may not be a full sitting because they are not sure if Kennedy Japan is in town. So, but the committee will meet nonetheless. We don't know whether they will have a proper hearing or just meet to decide that they will postpone the hearing. We'll see.
Okay, well, MPP Gurus Get Top appointment also happening. That's still in the Daily Guide. So the list of appointees to serve on boards of government organizations continues to grow, as many people expect appointments from the Akufo-Addo-led NPP. The latest to be appointed is Peter Makmenu, the campaign manager for President Akufo-Addo in both 2016 and 2020, who is going to become board chair of the Ghana Cocoa Board. He's replacing Hakman Owusu-Agyemang, who served as board chair in the first term of the president.
You know, we also yesterday announced that Edward Boateng is the TOR boss, and then Michael Kwe is
going to free zones. We have Mustafa Hamid, we have Samuel who going to
NLA. Now, whilst we are talking about TOR, the IES, Institute of Energy Security, is asking government to see this majority stake in TOR to enable private investors bring money to ensure its success. So government has been urged to cede majority of its stake in the Tamara refinery to private investors to ensure it attracts the needed investment to succeed. This advice was given by Institute of Energy Security. Proposal comes on the back of the recent announcement or appointment of Ghana's former ambassador to China, Edward Boateng, as MD of TOR. Is expected to spearhead the transformation of the company.
If you go to page 3 of the Chronicle, since we are talking TOR fuel and all of that, 5 Ghanaians are currently in the grip of the Gambia police force for allegedly smuggling 37,000 litres of diesel into the West African nation.
Look at that.
The arrest follows the confiscation of their ship in a joint security operation conducted at the seaport by the Police Intervention Unit, Delta Platoon, and the GRA Intelligence Unit.
Wow.
The operation was aimed at tackling illegal importation of goods into the Gambia. Okay, now a statement released by the Gambia Police dated August 3 and posted on Poliso Magazine, a Facebook platform established by the police. The statement said, quote, "Such illicit activities by individuals are motivated by the desire to evade payment of taxes and fulfillment of other tax obligations.
Let me give you two stories, Bernard, from the BNFT quickly. Page 3, 1 million jobs agenda depends on private sector response. Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research of the University of Ghana, Professor Peter Korte, has said that the success of the government's promise to deliver 1 million jobs in the next 4 years will largely depend on how the private sector will respond. His comments come on the back of Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta's announcement in the media budget presentation that government will, through the Ghana Coronavirus Alleviation and Revitalization Enterprises Support Ghana Cares program, create some 1 million jobs in the next 4 years. But Professor Korte argues that the success of such an agenda will largely depend on how the private sector will respond, given that the Ghana Cares program is heavily anchored on private sector participation, as the program seeks to raise 70% of the 100 billion Ghana Citi fund from the sector. Now, when you go to page 7, there's an
Still of the BNFT.
Yes, of the BNFT. There's an interesting update. BOG directs Momo operators, fintechs, others to provide credit information of clients. The Bank of Ghana has directed telecommunications companies, financial technology companies, mobile money operators, utility providers, among other organizations, to provide information on the credit behavior of borrowers to curb risk associated with lending. Other organizations required to also provide information about their clients to the credit reporting system database include retailers, government institutions that offer credit to MSMEs, institutions that provide identification documents, entities that supply goods and services on a post-paid or installment basis, student loan schemes provided by private or government agencies, and other entities that have relevant data and information that complies with permissible purposes of credit bureaus. Now, the motive of this is to promote the sharing of information on the credit history of debtors with lenders and other users of the CRS. Given credit information sharing is beneficial to both lenders and borrowers, as it helps lenders or creditors better assess the credit risk of each borrower or debtor. So this is quite interesting.
There was a story from Togakope about a customs vehicle which was burnt. Now, there are so many angles. The Daily Guide angle says youth set customs car ablaze. Star FM says 3 persons killed in Togakope road crash. And then Chronicle says
drama on a flower road as customs vehicle is set ablaze.
It's the same story. Just give me that quick angle.
Okay, so on mob on Tuesday night at Tefle near Sogakope set ablaze an official vehicle belonging to the customs division of the GRA. Now, the action of the uncontrolled mob stemmed from the fact that the customs vehicle chased an uncustomed car which crashed into a tricycle, resulting in near fatalities.
Really a troubling story. Now, let's get a few other stories.
Let me take you to the agri sector then.
Yes.
Graphic business on this one. Stakeholders urge rethink of fertilizer subsidy program.
Oh, Lord.
The General Agricultural Workers Union has called for a rethink of the strategies used for the distribution of fertilizer under the fertilizer subsidy program. That, it said, was necessary for the sustainability of the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative, one of the government's flagship programs. With particular reference to subsidized fertilizer for farmers, the union argued that subsidy was a development tool that the country should not allow to be abused at the expense of the majority of the people who are meant to benefit from it. Quote, today there is no subsidy anymore. The subsidy has no effect because the fertilizer is smuggled out. Once it is a subsidy, it must get to a target group, and so if it does not get to them, then it cannot be counted as a subsidy. This is coming from Edward Karewe, who's the General Secretary of GAU.
Meanwhile, yesterday we read a story which I want to just give an update on. So, quack doctors nabbed, and Daily Guide is reporting that the Medical and Dental Council, in collaboration with the police, apprehended 12 persons they suspect of being quack dentists, as well as 6 persons being quack doctors. Now, the acting registrar of the council, Dr. Divine Banyubala, at a news conference said the suspects were arrested separately at various locations in the country in the course of the year, and then it gives the names. Now, what I'm troubled about is some of these names are I mean, some of them are no names we've heard before,
Like,
and my other concern is how will somebody be practicing for almost a year? You know, imagine that the level of damage they would have done to people's teeth. I mean, a quack, and there are 12 of them. He said they are Dr. Osei Ford arrested at OB Xavier Clinic, Doma Hinkro, Daniel J. Ohinewa Memorial Clinic, Doma Hinkro, Samuel Lankwe Senior and Albertina Lamioko at Asin Adadientem. Number 2, Prince Tutu St. Chiade Clinic at Doma, Paul Amwanu Royal Medical Clinic at Ashaiman Zenu Atadeka. You know, all kinds of people. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. Now, I just wanted to give you a final one here. Tokyo 2020. Ghana secures 4x100 meter relay final spot with a national record. This is the first sprint event that we are in a final.
Yes.
So, what started as Azameti first round, and then Joe Paul semi-final, has now ended in a final
final.
spot. Now, the quartet was Sean Safwentry, Benjamin Azameti, Emmanuel Yeboah, and Joseph Paul Amoa. They finished 5th in a very fast heat with a time of 38.08. I mean,
Which is
a few years ago, that would have been a serious record in Africa itself. Now, but despite their fifth place, their team was fast enough to secure a place in the final, and they slashed 0.04 seconds off the previous record, which stood at 38.12. This was set in 1997 in Greece World Championship. Now that was Abudia, Eric Nkansa, Aziz Zakari, and Emmanuel Tufo.
Look at the names there.
These are heavy names,
Yeah, these boys are fast.
So Abudia, Eric Nkansa, Aziz Zakari, Emmanuel Tufo. These are legends when it comes to Ghana's athletics.
We have new legends now.
Safwentry got off the hook, got off the blocks quickly before Zameti blistering on the back straight, set up Emmanuel Yeboah for a smooth bend, and then Joe Paul, he just ended it nicely. So we're moving into the final.
Yeah, I told you the relay is a toss-up. It does not matter
Yeah.
position you qualify. You can qualify last and still win.
So
gold.
now China won in the other heat. Told Italy, what's this?
We have to watch China and Japan. China and Japan will be a problem.
Yeah.
China and Japan.
China and Japan.
Yes. Team USA didn't make it.
Wow, Germany finished 4th in that heat as
I
well.
think
Which
the
Ghana
last
finished
one, Japan were silver medalists
Yes,
from
I
the
think they
last
were
one, I
six,
think.
so,
fifth. So China was first in our heat. Italy was second. Canada was powered by DeGrasse.
DeGrasse,
They were third.
Finished third.
Germany 4th. Ghana 5th. So that was a very quick heat.
Yeah, and there are some two Ghanaians.
So which means that the other heat,
different
which means that
countries
in the other heat,
Three
there are
of them,
only
huh?
3 countries that qualified. Because then we have 5 from our heat,
Yes.
and then 3. That makes 8.
there. Yes.
The Ghanaians, I saw a Ghanaian weightlifter. The guy has a certain name. Eric Kuwaji, and he's lifting from Netherlands.
Yes.
And he's 19.
Nah, the missions are probably born.
And then I saw some
then there's another
other.
guy in the Canadian team. He went to Canada in 2006.
And there's,
Boating.
and there's another
Boating.
woman who was also running for. Who
Then
was
you have the Maoli sisters.
Maoli sisters
for
playing
Japan.
basketball
But there was
for
another
Japan.
woman with a Mensa name or something. So
And they are there. Even Germany, their relay team has a Ghanaian.
Ghanaian. The Danish have Kojo Musa.
Charlie, we should collect them
And the
back.
American the first American female to win
Tamarin
weightlifting-
Mensah stock.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ghanaian.
No, we have to collect our people back.
And then there is the Japanese, the lead Japanese sprinter, Brown.
Imagine if all these boys were performing for Ghana. We'll end it here. Quick editorial headlines. before we go.
Ghanaian Times, needless deaths on Volta Lake must stop.
Yes, please.
And then if you go to the Chronicle, riding tricycles on our major roads is a major threat to other users.
I agree with them.
And then the Business Finders editorial says, put research papers to good use.
Thank you very much.
Front page, the editorial of the Daily Guide says, rethinking the Founders Day,
Okay.
which is quite...
BNFT always has 2 editorials for
yes,
some
they
reason.
always have to. Let me just give you... yeah. Oh, it's okay. The papers are...
You can't find it.
Do you want the Chronicle
Yes,
scripture
please.
of the day?
What's the
Proverbs 12:22. The Lord detests lying lips, but he delights in people who are trustworthy.
We'll leave it here. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Godfred. Coming up next is the City Business News. Stay with us.